I'm in one of the most remarkable hotspots for biodiversity in the Americas. This is the Pacific Coast rainforest of Colombia, South America. An area of extraordinary endemism of plants and birds. And I'm here because I want to talk to Dr. Jorge Orjuela, who is driving through the rain and the slick mud of this road. Jorge is a Buffett Prize winner from the National Geographic Society, and somebody who knows the birds and particularly the orchids of this part of the world better than anybody else. Jorge, say hello to people.
Well, hello. Here I am driving through a very difficult road, so
we will not distract you anymore.
I will. Yes,
will
please.
Not distract
we
you
don't want
anymore.
to go 1,000 meters below.
This road is, pretty rough. It's raining like mad. There are lots of landslides. The road is often blocked, but you know, this is a rainforest, and it rains in rainforest, and where you don't have any vegetation to bind the soil, that's when you get the landslide.
Well, this is a very impressive sample of how orchids appear in the rainforest. We have a small branch covered with orchids and some other things, bromeliads. But here we have a very significant sample. This is at lowland elevation, and we have a Pleurothallis orchid. Perhaps this is a new species. Possibly there will be maybe 100 new species appearing every 2 or 3 years. In the last 10 years, it's likely that maybe over 500 Pleurothallis species have been described from the rainforest and also from the cloud forest. But this is a very beautiful one in particular. It's in full blossom, and it's nice to see.
Explain to us why this forest is so important, what's special about it. Tell us something about the orchids and why they are so interesting here.
It's loaded with species. The biodiversity here is unbelievable. Roughly, in this gradient from the Andes all the way down to the Chocó lowlands, we may have 1,500 species of diurnal butterflies. Easily in the neighborhood of 800 bird species. Orchids in the vicinity of 800 to 1,000 species along the gradient that goes from sea level all the way to 4,000 meters elevation at the National Park of Farallones. We are now inside of the National Park Farallones de Cali. Here you feel water everywhere, and it comes down in rivers, in rainfall, and mist. It's water all over the place. And this is one of the things that makes the Chocó biogeographical region so important. There's great precipitation. Here, at this particular spot, we receive 7,000 millimeters of rainfall per year. That's a column of 7 meters tall. That's really unbelievable. The biodiversity is here everywhere. Insects, plants, plants of all kinds, bromeliads, orchids, of an unusual beauty. The beauty of this area is uncanny. We have here a very beautiful orchid species. It's abundant, rather common. It's a Sobralia. It's of the genus Sobralia. Sobralia pulcherrima is this particular one. Let me show you the beauty of this orchid species. It resembles a Cattleya, the national flower of Colombia. But actually, this is a Sobralia, or Sobralia pulcherrima, the flower, and beneath that we see already the fruit, which is a capsule. It's here, the dry flower in this portion. This particular species blooms and stays in blossom for only one day. This one is already on the way out, but you see a new flower bud that will surely open in 1 or 2 days. All of this interact with bees, moths, butterflies, and it's really very interesting how all this tangle of species actually sustain life in the forest.
Could you tell me the threats to this forest, and tell me a little bit about the work that you did that resulted in National Geographic awarding the Buffett Prize to you?
I was fortunate to spend about 10 years of my life initiating a conservation project that developed rather well 25 years ago. The project's still going on today, and it was through that we were able to save over 3,000 hectares and to influence the management of an area that is easily 500,000 hectares. So the interesting thing is that these areas are threatened by human encroachment. Particularly in the Andes, most of the population of Colombia is concentrated in the Andes, and the human pressures on the natural forest is extremely high. We could call these areas hot spots because of the high diversity and also the high amount of pressure on the the well-being of those ecosystems. So my work that was highlighted by National Geographic Buffett had to do with the sighting of areas of high endemism, areas where if they were destroyed, the species that were contained in them, that occur only in those areas, will also disappear. So luckily enough, several of those areas were converted into national parks or equivalent reserves.
Right. Tell me a little bit about how many species of orchid are new to science in these areas.
In one area that I worked in particular, in cloud forest, we started doing a collection not knowing anything about orchids. We simply recognized an orchid species and we started to pick a few orchids. In a matter of 1 month of casual collecting, we surpassed 100 species. But then we concentrated a little more and studied them a bit more. In a matter of 2 years, not dedicating ourselves only to the study of orchids, that number increased to 400 species. So 400 species found in something like 30 square kilometers was an outstanding amount of orchids. Basically 20% of the species found out of those 400, that's 80 species, were new to science. And many of those enter in the not very comfortable status of endangerment. They are rare, they are found only in those particular places, so they are endemic species and they are in danger. I would say that in the entire range from the 3,500 meter level to the sea level, we may have perhaps 700 or 800 species. Cataloged to the moment, I don't presume that we have 300 of those species. So out of the 500 remaining, possibly there will be many new species to science. But orchids vary not just altitudinally, they also vary on a longitudinal basis. And it's very likely that in the Andean mountains of Colombia has 3 mountain ranges. All of them surpass the 3,500 meter level. Above the 1,000 meter level to the 3,500, in the 3 Andean ranges, we are likely to find maybe between 500 and 1,500 new species. Smaller groups that are highly speciose, we may still have many treasures that are still to be discovered. Maybe 1,000 new species more in Colombia.
Jorge, that's been fantastic. Thank you so very much. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Stuart.